What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Multiverse Monologues, the podcast show where we like to travel across the multiverses and fandoms that we love to talk about the movies and television shows that accompany those universes. I am your co-host, Ben Rayside, and today, along with the other two gentlemen who will be joining me, we will be talking about X-Men Origins Wolverine, the fourth time we will be entering the X-Men cinematic universe, the Fox cinematic universe, X-Men characters, to talk about this planned sequel slash prequel slash reboot slash. It was planned to be many things when it was initially scheduled to be released, but plans did not go according to plan. But we're going to talk about that, and I did say I mentioned them before, but today joining me, as always, in the Marvel movie marathon are my loyal co-hosts. First off, being Mr. Ethan Westloff. Ethan, how are you?
I'm all right, and I sat down to watch this movie, and at the end, I said, it was real to me. That's what it felt like. It was real to me. So I'm excited to talk about this and just experience the conversation we're going to have on this movie.
So I was, me and Nick, I'll shout out Nick before we start here. We were talking, and he goes, when it first started, the quips to intro Ethan and Micah, they were a little annoying, but I'm not going to lie, they're kind of growing on me. I really like those. Right. I really like the quotes at the beginning of it. And you hear Mr. Micah Head's voice. Micah, how are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. This movie got me excited. It's very sharp. It's a sharp movie. It's a lot of sinks falling, a lot of bikes falling, hey, real quick, plug. If you haven't listened to the Last of Us podcast, I want to plug that right away. Listen to that. Watch the Last of Us show. It's great.
Absolutely. I would say it's a little bit more sharp than the movie that we are about to get into.
Ooh.
Before we do that, like Micah said, go listen to the Last of Us podcast. They're doing great work. 2 episodes are already out, as the 2 episodes have been on HBO Max, and have no plans to stop as we get through the 9 episodes of the show.
9 episodes,
I believe.
By the time this episode comes out, we'll already have the third one coming out later tonight.
Oh, wow. Even better. Look at that. So look forward to that, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. With that out of the way, let's open our sling ring and head over to the Fox X-Men universe.
We all got a choice, son. Yeah, mine got taken. And that won't ever happen again.
Become the animal, and you will have your revenge.
I'm coming for you. No law. No code of conduct. You wanted the animal. You got it.
X-Men Origins Wolverine. We're here to talk about it. We're here to dig deep on the most personal of X-Men tales that we've got so far in the Fox X-Men universe. The first of many X-Men spin-offs that are going to happen. But this was the first one. In 2009, Hugh Jackman signed on for many Wolverine films, many that were eventually turned into other projects. But before we talk about all of that and get into the nitty-gritty on what Wolverine's past was, in movie form, we're going to discuss what his past was in the real life, what happens in this story, because it does chronicle more or less his origins.
His X-Men origins.
You could
his
say.
X-Men origins, but mainly the origins of the name Wolverine, ?
Yes. Take the title into consideration when you think about the origins of this movie. But before we talk about that, I want to hear what you guys think about this movie. And you know what? I want to start with you first, Ethan, because you have never seen this movie before. Is that correct?
No, yeah. But before I give my thoughts, I want to let the listeners know what is this movie about? So X-Men Origins Wolverine, it follows 2 mutant brothers, Logan and Victor, born 200 years ago, suffering childhood trauma and having only each other to depend on. Basically, they're fighters and killers, living from war to war throughout U.S. history. In modern times, a U.S. Colonel Stryker recruits them and other mutants as commandos. Logan quits and becomes a logger, a lumberjack. He carries an axe around in this movie, and it doesn't pay off, but it was cool to see, I guess.
He's a hunk, man.
He ends up falling in love with a local teacher. When Logan refuses to rejoin Stryker's crew, the colonel sends the murderous Victor after him. Logan now wants revenge. And this plot synopsis doesn't mention it, but there is also a whole side quest where Stryker is taking other mutants, kind of boiling them into a pot, per se, and creating one ultimate mutant who in this movie is known as Deadpool.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that. That's
He
for
certainly
sure.
was a Deadpool.
You could say he was boiling them not into a pot, but into a pool.
Oh.
Of
Sure,
sorts.
sure,
Of sorts.
yeah. But anyway, my thoughts on this movie. Yes, so I've heard about this movie. I've never seen it. You guys, as far as last week goes, when we sat down to record the Punisher one, you guys were like, yeah, we haven't seen this in a while. We feel fairly positive. But everything I've ever heard, it was really negative. And I got to say, the reputation precedes this film. I think, man, what is this movie? Just a lot of the choices baffles me. For the same universe where mere movies before, they were too scared to put these X-Men in comic accurate suits. And they still are afraid to do that with Wolverine. And we see going forward, we never get Wolverine in that suit. But for some reason, that same studio, Fox Studios, no. Yeah, is it Fox?
Yeah.
Fox Studios produces this film with this corniness and just, this is horrible. I got to say, it's not good. But I'm excited to hear your thoughts and excited to dive more into why this movie fails.
Okay. All right. So
Wow.
a very hot take coming out from
Definitely
the
a
gate
hot take.
from Ethan Wentzloff. Micah.
Well, never once in our X-Men movies have I thought, man, they would look a whole lot better if they just wore those bright yellow suits. never once. So that's the one part where I disagree with Ethan. And the next point where I disagree with Ethan is that I love this movie. This movie's great. I love all the action
Let's
that we get.
define great right here, Mike.
I love
Cheese
Wolverine.
grater, I'd say.
Okay. I love Wolverine. I love Logan. I love seeing things blow up. I love seeing the claws come out. I love that whole intro with, we'll get into it, but I love the intro where we get through all the wars. I love I wouldn't even call it super cheesy because it's just comic book cheesy.
No, it's beyond that.
Yeah, all right. We'll see about that.
So going
We'll see
into
how it compares to some earlier Avengers movies once we start watching those.
Don't even.
I haven't seen them in a while.
even.
I haven't seen them in a long
Yeah,
time.
they pass. The Avengers movies pass the test. This doesn't. I just want to say this right now. Or I'll let you go.
Yeah.
This
I
is your
watched
time.
this movie with Ethan, and every time he was dogging on the movie, I was like, "This isn't that bad. I like this movie."
We did have that dynamic. We did watch it
Yeah.
together. So
I'm usually one to make fun of movies too when I'm watching. I'm like, you know what? I like this movie. This one's good.
and I
like
respect
seeing-
that.
Yeah.
I'm willing to respect that, but I'm gonna say that
Okay.
Yeah.
The end CGI. I will admit that was rough. Them running over to the helicopter. That looked like something straight out of
But
it looked
you
like
would say that you like this movie.
I like this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
like seeing. Okay, it wasn't as dramatic as what they were. Well, I'll get into it. I think that it serves the purpose of showing Wolverine's backstory leading up to his memory loss. Perfectly fine for me. Not perfect. It's not a perfect movie, but
Thank you for that clarification.
It qualifies. It qualifies.
Well, I would say that you're allowed to like something even
yeah.
though it's not
I just feel bad
perfect
liking this movie because Ethan feels like it's gonna be a
No,
sub
no,
five.
no. Hey. It's all right. Ben likes The Punisher, so
Oh yeah, I guess so.
people like things.
But this will be
That's
two
fine.
movies in a row where I got to defend myself.
I'm gonna present my case why I don't like this movie throughout this podcast.
Will you admit that there are good things in this movie?
I admit, there
Okay.
are fun things that
Okay.
could be pulled.
I had a fun
Yeah.
time with this movie.
Yeah.
It was good.
Ben, what did you think of this movie after your most recent rewatch?
So we have we have night and day here. We have dark and light. We have the Sith versus the Jedi.
Whoa.
But who's the Sith and who's the Jedi?
Who's the watchful
Can you
guardian?
can you clarify?
I know which side I would like to align myself with. And Micah, you won't be defending this movie alone.
No way.
Because I also, maybe it's childhood nostalgia talking.
That could be it for me too.
Maybe it's the fact that my main issue with the X-Men films is the fact that with the ensemble cast, they don't tell as personal of a story as well. They haven't gotten the formula right to tell big budget, multiple character stories yet, in my opinion. Maybe it's the fact that this gets personal with one specific character, my favorite character with those movies. Maybe that's the fact. But I can't help the fact that, one, to admit that, yes, there is problems with this movie.
There's problems with that.
But I overlook those issues because the good, in my opinion, outweighs the bad.
Definitely.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we are gonna have a
Great.
good discussion here.
I'm excited.
right.
Gentlemen,
I'm
we are going to
excited.
have a
Ethan took
good
notes.
discussion. He did take
I
notes.
have.
I don't have notes.
I have proof. I not proof, but I can back up why I feel the way I feel.
This is great because I was, while I was watching this movie 2 hours ago, I was
You
trying.
watched it today?
I watched it today. I got home from work. I popped this thing in. I own the movie. I like all three Wolverine films. I know I like Wolverine and Logan. But I was on the fence because I hadn't seen this movie in a while. And actually, I'm not going to lie, there are parallels that I drew from this movie to Logan.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
for
And I
sure.
was like, are they intentionally kind of calling back here? Are they kind of paying homage to
They've gotta
a
be.
film that really, I could say deserves deserved to get dogged on in some ways. But the fact that maybe they tried to, pay homage, I have respect for that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that. So
Totally. Yeah. And I
I
mean,
do
go
like
ahead.
the movie. I do have, a soft spot in my heart for this movie that I will not fault anyone for thinking it's terrible.
So we're looking at a 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, and a 0 out of 10.
Yeah. Well, what's that average out to?
What is that, a 6?
Okay.
something like that.
Podcast over. Thanks for listening,
All
guys.
right. This is Micah.
This is Ben Race.
This is Ethan Wenslow.
We all hope you have an absolutely fantastic day.
And
All right.
scene.
I do like that you highlight that you felt like Logan parallels in there because I leaned over to Micah yesterday. I'm like, man, this movie is really punching me in the face with how I'd rather be watching Logan. I just would be.
But that's with every X-Men movie. Every X-Men movie,
It-
I see
it's-
Logan, and
you're-
I'm like,
Would you rather be
You're
watching?
exactly
rather-
right.
yes.
You're exactly right. Yeah. So that's not really a fair comparison because it's like comparing pizza to whatever, a piece of broccoli. It doesn't count. It's just whatever. Of course, the pizza's
it's
better.
just in. Ethan hates broccoli.
So
I do like broccoli. I think broccoli's great.
You just need some cheese on it. Is that what you're saying?
you've taken copious notes, Ethan.
Yeah. So
Lay out your case.
So the main reason that this movie fails, well, I highlighted last week. The writing of Punisher was not great. I felt the writing in this was not great either. And the main thing that this movie deserves the hate for is, I love Hugh Jackman. I love Wolverine. And they made him boring. They made him so boring in this. And he's not fun to watch at all. And the characters they surround him with are terrible. The story they surround him with, even worse. I love that you guys like this movie. I do. But for me, there's nothing really I can pull from this and go, that was a good choice. Doing that was good.
Nothing. in this
Nothing.
movie.
Nothing.
Not
at all.
one choice
Nothing
in this movie
at all. No. I didn't. For starters, the start of the movie,
Yeah.
montages over a movie that I probably would want to see.
So I was thinking about this because every reviewer that I have seen talk about this movie says that exact same thing. I would rather be watching that movie that takes place in the montage. But the montage takes place over 150 years. That is very
No, but
difficult to
focus
tell
on
a story.
Focus on a part of that montage. It's like the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
They focus on literally the most boring part of Boba Fett's life.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is doing the exact same. There is so much interesting time for this character of Logan, and this is what we get. It's like you're just doing this because you teased us in X2 that there is a story, so you're kind of like, all right, we got to tell a story here now. But they don't really do that too well, and all the characters in this, they're just so bizarrely weird. And his girlfriend, who is the same actress who plays Leah in The Walking Dead, so that was cool seeing a Walking Dead actor in this.
Yes, when she came in The Walking Dead, I was like,
oh yeah. So yeah, but I really don't like how they erase his memory in this. Amnesia is never fun, but the bullet thing, it didn't work for me.
Yeah. I will agree that was a bit sudden for the it was a bit cheap to have Stryker just come up and shoot him twice in the head and then he heals and forgets everything, because we've seen in the comics characters lose even more than that and not lose their memory. So I don't know. Deadpool literally gets eviscerated by the sun and is revived by one drop of blood and still is Deadpool. At what point is what canon and what's not? So there are wacky things in this movie, I will admit. The Ridiculous Six or whatever group that is.
There are a lot of laugh out loud moments too, though.
A lot of funny character moments,
there.
A lot of cool mutant abilities that we see in this movie too. We see that teleporting guy. I like that. The animation that they use. That's cool.
That's cool.
what's his name? Oh, it's Frank.
Will.i.am.
Yep, there you go. There it is.
Will.i.am. Whenever he teleports, you can see his skeleton for a second, and they use that later on. Where what's his name?
Victor Creed.
Victor Creed.
It was funny. So
grabs his spine. I didn't think you had one of these.
I always like to connect wardrobe to the character's powers, and when the character was on screen, we also watched this with Parker, so shout out to Parker. But when he first appeared on screen, me and Parker were like, what do we think that guy's powers are? Parker's like, oh, that dude, he totally throws boomerangs. Totally.
And I was like, no, he's definitely a sniper, because like snipers, they wear the cowboy
They wear those
hat.
hats, yeah.
And then Parker's like, oh yeah, it's an Australian. Okay, Parker. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can see that.
That's cool.
Boomerang hat. That's cool.
That's cool.
So you don't like the girlfriend?
No.
You don't like that whole?
No, because I like it. Okay, I like her as a character, but I don't like the swinging around they do. The fake death doesn't work for me, and the way that Logan's just like cool with her at the end of this movie. Well, obviously at the very end he has no memory of her, but before that, he's just willing to work with her again after she's betrayed him, and she was the reason that he was tricked and manipulated into becoming Weapon X. Which, I mean, in hindsight, makes him a more powerful mutant. But Stryker uses him for that way, and I don't know how he's just like cool with.
She did claim that she never used the powers to love.
Yeah,
and the love was.
It was real to me.
It was real to me.
Yes.
They were real to me.
Yup.
Played Force Unleashed.
Yup. Perfect, excellent quote. I might even dub that in there. That's going to be great. But I think that works. See, I think that works. Because imagine you're with someone for 6 years. You know, living out in the mountains, which that already has me on board because I just want to live in the mountains myself. Oh, yeah. But that dude is on a log cabin on top of a hill overlooking mountains. Like
looking absolutely jacked.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude.
During that scene, I was like, I could be watching Logan right now.
Dude, jacked man.
Bro,
yeah.
It was so good. And then I didn't expect there to be a love story here the first time I watched it. But that is actually the thing that I grab onto in this movie. And it's the through line that I take throughout this entire movie. Because imagine this. You're with a girl for 6 years. You break up with her. It's fresh in your mind. It's been 2 days? And then she comes back to you and says, it was real to me. This whole deal was real to you. Would be so conflicted. And just in your mind, like after that happens, you want, like after a breakup happens, you want there to be some way, like, what could I have done differently? If I could go back and do this again, how would I do this? And then she comes back and says, it was real to me. And so it's like, I don't know if he ever like fully accepts it, but I think he wants it to be like, he wants that future. So if she is willing to go there, like even at the end, he picks her up and he's like, we're going to get you better. Please don't. I mean, obviously he never gets the choice or the chance to do that. But I think it's almost tragic in a way how it all ends up.
Yeah.
And I attach, like, that's how I get through the movie. You know, one of the major positives of this movie.
Plus,
that's where that is for me.
It's cool to see that her intentions are always love. She has her sister in mind too. That's her motive. That's why she agrees with Stryker to go to Logan's place.
She's not a bad character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, as far as motives go.
Mhm.
You can argue whether she's a bad character. Like,
Yeah,
written.
she's controlled by bad people, but she didn't like do anything maliciously.
Yeah. And the story, however much it gets dogged on, I do like that because at the end, you get her in his brain and it's like he's alone. He can no longer touch her. And obviously at that point in the story, Logan is sitting there deep in his thoughts after this. You know, he's dwelling on it and thinking on it. Like, I love that. It's so good. And that's why I said at the beginning, this X-Men movie is allowed to be more personal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that serves the story all the better. Now, I will say this. That was a positive of mine. A negative of mine is the CGI in this movie. There is a scene with Wolverine, and he's testing out his adamantium claws in the bathroom. And he like clangs them together and then destroys the bathroom. Number one, that's stupid. How do you destroy a whole bathroom? Number two, it looks horrible.
How do you cut through a sink like butter?
Yeah.
Dude, I that's another scene. I lean over to Mike. I was like, what part of the production were they like, yeah, there's no way we're going to practically use these claws. Well, why make them practical when we can have blobs moving around on screen? Let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah, that's a stupid scene.
Definitely wasn't as sharp as it could have been.
Nice.
Nice. Very good. Very good. And then even the helicopter chase sequence.
I didn't mean that.
There's a lot of... No way. You did that.
I didn't mean that.
Well, Mike is out here
about the
spitting
CGI,
puns and not even realizing
it was mushy. It looked like how Ethan's. It looked dull. It didn't look like the adamantium in the injection scene was shiny. It was like a silvery, chromy color. But in the bathroom scene, it just looked dull. It didn't look reflective at all. It just looked like gray. Could have been way better.
And then even after that, like the helicopter chase sequence on the motorbike, there are certain scenes where he's on the motorbike or flying towards it. Some of the CGI just straight up looks unfinished.
CGI aside, though, I think
it's
I
not
think it was
enough
an
to break.
interesting looking scene for me.
Yes, and also like how cool is it that he ignites the thing and walks away like all cool and the thing blows up.
Ethan was dogging on
No
that
matter
scene.
who
He was
you
like,
are.
Iron Man did that first.
Actually, Punisher did that first
Punisher did
in
that
the
first.
Punisher movie, if you guys will remember.
Sorry, I don't
that
remember
was where
bad
I
movies.
went.
Dude, there's definitely a better movie that did it before Punisher.
Probably. Oh yeah. I mean, countless '80s action movies have done
Pretty
that.
sure The Matrix did it at some point.
But it's always cool in every film, no matter what film it's in.
Yeah.
But
There's a reason why it's a trope.
This was easily the least cool way they did it.
I don't know about that.
That was
What?
cool.
Really?
A bit undeserved, but still cool looking.
I don't know what happened to me, but no scenes worked in this movie for me. Like, it was so corny the way he took down that helicopter. Like, I was laughing, and you were laughing too, but I think we were laughing in
I was
different...
laughing because it was cool.
We were laughing at different in
yo!
different ways, but I want to like this movie, I do, but I just can't. No part of me can pull myself to like this movie, and I do want to pull back to the whole story as a whole and how it wraps up. And so the whole story is his emotional journey. You know, you have his wife and him becoming Weapon X. But at the end, his memory's wiped. He has amnesia. He doesn't remember any of it. All that emotional stuff he just went through doesn't mean anything to him anymore. Maybe we as viewers, we saw it, but it doesn't mean anything to the character that we see in X-Men or even in Logan. Those memories are gone forever. So to me, the whole appeal to prequels and knowing where characters end up is getting that emotional story and getting to see what that character has been through and why it recontextualizes what we see later. So Better Call Saul did this perfectly. Andor seeming to be doing it really great. And it's going to change the way we feel about the character. But to me, it doesn't do that with Logan because he isn't that same character. He doesn't remember any of that. So it's irrelevant to us as a viewer because it doesn't matter. That's the character we meet later in the X-Men. Different character, different memories. It's not the same. Sure, same powers, same actor, but it doesn't work in that way.
Well, hold on. He still has some.
He has
characteristics.
flashes.
He has characteristics.
Yeah.
He has flashes, and there are the parallels. You'll see that he acts the same despite having the complete memory loss.
Especially in X2 when
Yeah.
Stryker comes back, because this is the same character that
This
appears
is the
in
movie
X2.
that Stryker came back in. Let's make that right.
Well-
X2 was first. Come on.
Well, absolutely. But he comes, I mean, if you look at it now, I've never gone back and watched X2 after this. But there's a line in this movie that he says the exact same thing in X2 as he does in this one. And I was like, oh, wow, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I should have wrote it down. Shame on me for not writing notes. But he says the same thing. And throughout the movie, he's like, don't you remember, Logan? You really don't remember, do you? And it's like in X2. And it's like, but now we have this story. So we, the audience, know. I think it works, in my opinion.
Yeah. And
It's not the movie we deserve, but
The movie we
the
need.
movie we need.
so yeah, in X2 when they're teasing this, it seems cool. And then when it's happening on screen in this movie, it just doesn't. I'm like, oh, what Stryker is portrayed way less villainous in this.
Definitely, I'd agree.
He's kind of like, yo, Logan, dude, this is what I'm doing. Let's do this. And
Yeah.
Logan's like,
I'm making a team.
heck yeah, let me hop in that pool right there. Let me lay in the tub and make this happen. Because Logan willingly does it. He willingly,
Well, because he wanted to get back at his brother.
I know, but I don't know.
He has his motives. I don't know. I think that the plot is bare minimum good enough for what it's trying to do. It just needs to fill in that gap in the timeline for why he has the memory loss, why he has the adamantium. It covers very basically the relationship between Logan and his brother, and it joins all these plot points together with some pretty sick action. Ryan Reynolds and and the Blob,
Which I
So-
will say that is a Ryan Reynolds pre-pool Weapon 11 is not
they
good.
call him Deadpool.
They
He's
call him
not
Deadpool.
good.
He's called Deadpool in this
Deadpool.
movie. Yeah,
I like
He's got the face and everything.
his jokes. None of them land. Like as they're going up through the elevator, he's just like saying things, and like his charisma is not enough to carry this one.
Great. Stuck in an elevator with 5 guys on a high-protein diet. Oh, word. Dreams really do come true.
Just shut it. You're up next.
Thank you, sir. You look really nice today. It's the green. Brings out the seriousness in your eyes.
Oh my God, you ever shut up, pal?
No, not when I'm awake.
Whereas in the Deadpool movies, it's great.
Well,
the
nothing
writing
beats
is
the
great.
Deadpool movies in regards
And
to
it,
that.
right. So, but this one, it's just a little funny that we saw him in Blade play pretty much the same character, pretty
yeah.
much.
I told that to Ethan.
Yeah.
I was like, doesn't he even use a katana in Blade?
Yes,
He
Yes,
does.
he does.
He must have some sort of
but
training
he does
on-
not
Don't
have
get me
the
wrong.
wicked sword skills
Yeah.
that he has.
He
in
even
the-
He's
wears
not
the
using a katana
sleeveless-
in this movie. He's using a lightsaber. Let's be real here.
Oh yeah,
With
cuts
the
through
way
like
he
butter,
deflects the
no blood on the blades.
Yeah. Let's just
Yeah.
be real. It's a lightsaber.
I'm talking about in his first scene when all those dudes are in the room shooting at him, and he's just helicoptering the blades around, and then
Hitting every bullet.
He cuts the bullet in half, and it kills the 2 dudes behind him.
That was epic.
Yeah,
That was pretty sick.
that was epic. Yeah,
You know what else was pretty sick? The what was the Asian dude with the acrobatics? It was
Oh
just
yeah,
flying around.
when he jumps in there and Gainer's in there. So
dude, when he yeah,
I'm
you're about to
assuming
say
you
it.
don't like this scene.
You're about to say it, yeah.
When he Gainer's in and he goes to grab his weapons and then absolutely destroys the guys.
And the machine gun goes in, even though it's pistols. Yeah, but my thing is like that stuff.
Machine gun pistols.
It's hard. It's hard for me to appreciate that stuff because it's all CG. If some dude does that, real life does that gunplay action, that is cool. But it's all computered. I don't care.
well,
You
it's a
kind of-
superpower.
I know, but
All
whatever.
superpowers are computer generated.
You know what? They should have trained this guy to jump super high and do flips.
You know what?
No,
You're right.
I know. It sounds stupid because I love superhero stuff, but like when they do it in a way that works, like obviously Thor doesn't have lightning and the hammer's not magical, but they do it in a way that I believe it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can believe that guy's real. I can believe that those powers he has are real. The way that they do the superpowers in this movie, I'm like, that's not real. That's just a character.
What who else is a character in this movie? Dominic Monaghan playing.
Dude, they had a couple lost
Chris
actors in
Bradley?
here, man.
Dude.
Couple lost actors. It's weird because now I think
I didn't
of
know he was in Lost. I
think
knew him
of,
from Lord of the Rings, but
well, I used to think Dominic Monaghan, but now when I think of Dominic Monaghan,
Okay, yeah.
I think Lost.
That's so cool.
I've
rewired. You don't even think of Mary.
he's much more prominent in Lost. That's why I think instantly,
I love
but
that.
I only think of Charlie when I think of Dominic Monaghan. So I'm watching him. You know, I like his sequence when he's at the fairgrounds and he's like trying to turn it off.
Oh,
You can't tell me you didn't like that scene. Come on, that was good. Just good for his. I mean, it's not even his character.
like
but I
him.
like this.
I like
the
him, yeah.
sequence. Just try and turn it off.
And
Can't do
that
it.
Cyclops who's there at the carnival.
Cyclops is the guy who says you're a freak when he fails to turn
Oh,
off the light 3 times.
Is that Cyclops?
That's what Ethan said. I
That's
didn't recognize it
Cyclops.
right
I
believe
away.
so.
You
According,
don't have the glasses on though.
Because he didn't have the Cyclops powers until like the next day or something.
I don't know.
Oh.
That's what I read into it. That's how I felt. But I could be wrong. And if I am,
Oh.
leave a comment.
One other thing that I just noticed real quick, Daniel Henney, who plays Agent Zero, the Asian guy who flips around, he plays Tadashi in Big Hero 6, and we'll be watching that movie
Really?
later in the multiverse.
Yes,
in the
we will.
multiverse.
You know, I forgot that's a Marvel film.
Yeah, I was watching Men in Black, and it says based on the Marvel comics in the intro.
Mm.
We skipped it. Can't believe this.
What in the actual?
So an even cooler plug is, I think, Liev Schreiber. Is that how you say his name?
Yep.
Yeah, he plays Kingpin in Into the Spider-Verse.
No way.
Yep. And
Victor Creed.
I really do think he's a standout in
I
this
thought
movie.
his voice sounded familiar too. That's totally him.
It's not about the money, Spider-Man. That's Liv Schreiber.
about the Mets.
It's about the it's about the Mets. The Mets. Come on,
go,
baby.
baby.
Let's go, baby. That's good. I love that. I think their fight scene. I love his line in the diner.
You got insurance in this place?
Sure. No.
Too bad.
I don't think Wolverine is boring in this movie. I think he has some killer one-liners.
Killer.
And there you go. And he's just cool, man. When he's telling Agent Zero to go back to the van.
I have a job.
I already have a job.
Lumberjack. 18 grand a year?
18.5. Plus, I haven't had to kill anyone in a while.
Starting to miss it.
Right about now, I am.
Yeah.
Zero. Back to the car.
Attaboy.
He does that little.
Yeah.
I love that. It's just cool, Logan-esque. And then he goes to beat up those guys on the when they're blocking the road. He's like, I'm just gonna go talk to him. You know,
Just want to talk.
just want to talk.
I think that Victor Creed is an excellent villain. I think that he's
Yes.
intimidating. I think he has a stance about him. He's got a way he delivers his lines. That's great. That's why they picked him for. I'm blanking on his name in Spider-Verse, but Kingpin, yes, in Spider-Verse. I think the idea of Deadpool, the way they set him up,
Yeah.
is cool. And then they reveal that he looks weird, and that
See
kinda-
that-
the
see-
thing that
yeah.
ruins Deadpool is the look of him in this movie.
I think he should not have been in this movie. Like,
I think it
He
should have
is
been
my
a different
one-
character, but I think the powers and abilities
yeah. See,
of that character.
I
could've been
don't
cool.
like that they use Deadpool for that though. Like,
definitely.
that
My
does
thing is
not-
as a kid could sit down, write this movie, and like think, oh, that is super cool.
as a kid, I had no problem.
Like
with this.
Deadpool, like at the end, he's gonna have all these mutant powers. He's
Yeah.
gonna have like Wolverine-esque powers, but instead of the claws, it's gonna be the Deadpool swords.
Whoa.
Come on, that's gonna be so cool.
I also was scared of this as a kid because when I watched it, I was like, they hate him because he talks so much. And they took away his mouth. What the heck? Holy cow, he has no mouth. That's
Imagine the
crazy.
writer's room where they're like, all right, guys, we're going to put Deadpool in,
Yeah,
but
right.
we're gonna sew his mouth shut.
Wait, you're going to take his signature characteristic.
He's not going to eat a single chimichanga. He's not going to say a single sex joke. He's going to...
Wait a minute. Hold on. That's not Deadpool.
He got a few before he got his mouth.
Not
But Ben,
as
I love
Deadpool,
that you
though.
highlight that because it made you scared. Like, oh, this guy talks too much and his mouth gets sewn shut. And instead of talking less, you started a podcast. So I just like seeing that parallel.
But hold
in real
on.
life.
Let's talk about that post-credit scene.
Yes.
Because we see
both
that
of
his-
them?
Mm-hmm.
Both of them.
There are two.
There's one. We watched them
We
both.
watched both.
Micah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the mid-credit and then the post-credit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the post-credit, we see Wade Wilson beheaded on the... That was pretty sick when they cut off his head and then he laser-eyed all the way down.
I like that.
Here, now, I'm glad you brought that scene up because the way the head's spinning in the one shot, and then from
I didn't pay
the
attention
outside
enough.
view, it's like spiraling. Anyway, look it up online. Deadpool's death.
We'll have to
in this
see if
movie,
that
but
actually lined up because
his-
Ethan said that his head was spinning the other way than the direction.
Either
laser
way,
was.
the pace he was falling wouldn't have allowed for the lasers to shoot out the way they did.
I don't know.
But I don't. Whatever. That's a small detail.
That is far
annoyed
from
me.
Ethan's problems with this movie.
yeah,
It's there though.
we'll say it's we'll chalk it up to the comic book movie nature of this. But yeah,
So-
that was pretty sick. We
Yeah.
see at the end of this movie they tease that Deadpool will be returning, and we don't get that in this canon.
Which I am very happy about because this Deadpool is trash. You know, I
Definitely.
don't want to see
Are you
this
sad
Deadpool
about that,
again.
Micah?
I'm confused how it works in the canon. So Deadpool is part of the reboot canon, right? The
Yes,
Days
let's.
of Future Past.
Any X-Men movie we discuss, we have to discuss
the timeline.
'Cause
canon.
by the time we finish the X-Men saga, we might almost understand.
So it's
it.
easy. It's here since we're doing a watch through. It's easy
Yeah.
to digest what we've watched. So we watched the first 3 X-Men movies,
Mm-hmm.
and now we've seen Logan. And right now, as it stands,
Wolverine.
sorry, I misspoke. We've seen X-Men Origins Wolverine, but as it stands right now, every movie we've seen works for this X-Men timeline.
Yes.
So it will be really cool to see when they start messing with that.
These 3 take place chronologically, the first 3, and
Mm-hmm.
then this goes back. I'm not sure how long it takes back. Maybe 10, 20 years, maybe.
It
Because
was like
when
79 or
when
something.
we-
We looked it up.
Yeah, when we pick up in the first X-Men movie, Logan is
89?
fighting in Canada, I think, is what it is. I remember it being
it's
accurate,
probably
and
Canada.
It's somewhere up north. It's snowing. And so he's fighting. He has his memories lost. So it takes place sometime after this. And Stryker is obviously, he's like a part of this. So in the second movie. So it works right now. Logan, there's no really, I mean, as far as I'm think, there's no really canon breaking details. I mean, they get a different actor to play Stryker, but such is the
because he's
nature of
younger.
cinematic universes. Even Marvel can't get away with it, although I think they're the best to do so. Actually, I would say Star Wars is the best when it comes to getting actors back for certain things and not recasting. But I mean, that's the nature of things. Star Wars has less.
Yeah, when
of
they got
anything.
Han Solo to come back, that was great. In
When they got,
I
when they
think
got
Alden
Ewan
did a
McGregor
great
back
job.
to play
Who?
Ewan McGregor and his
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's perfect
in that
casting.
great show.
Ooh. I thought we were talking about.
So
the
I want to talk about
prequels.
Gambit. Gambit's in this movie
Remy LeBeau.
for a little bit, and that's why me and Mike have been saying that's cool because
That's cool.
Will.I.am, when he first sees Gambit, he looks at him, he goes, "That's cool," and
Ethan was freaking out about Gambit. I didn't know what he was talking about. I thought that Gambit was like an okay throwaway kind of villain. But Ethan says, what do you have to say about Ethan?
So
How about
I'm
Gambit?
not going to pretend I'm a lorist when it comes to X-Men, but I've seen some of the animated series, and Gambit's an X-Men. He's not a villain, and he is like
I
one of the
wouldn't say
coolest.
he's a villain in this.
He's got a sweet look,
Oh, yeah.
and
Never mind.
like I said, I don't know too much about him, but I know that this version is not good. But like I said, I'm not the definitive.
What is
I-
Gambit supposed to be?
His accent, I think it's portrayed pretty well actually in this, but I think his accent's pretty off. I think this is the wrong actor to portray Gambit. Obviously, he doesn't have his comic book outfit, but he does have a pretty sick sequence of him animating cards and throwing them at Wolverine, which I appreciate since the Fox universe is apparently, they don't want to get too comic booky. You know,
That kind of reminds me a lot of our last gambling addicted villain that we saw in Ethan's favorite Netflix show prequel movie, Daredevil, with Deadshot.
Deadshot. Oh, we talking?
Is that his name?
No, Bullseye.
Bullseye.
Yeah.
That's his name.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever his name was.
Ben
Yes.
Affleck's Daredevil.
Yeah, that reminded me of that guy. I was like,
Yeah.
where have we seen playing cards killing people before?
Oh yes, it was Bullseye. Yeah.
Bullseye. It was a lot more sinister in that one, but
He also threw a nut down a lady's throat and she died on the airplane. So he.
I wish we got more of that in this movie.
Yeah, more nuts. Me too. We do get some butts though.
We almost get some nuts.
We get Hugh Jackman. Yeah.
we get his butt a couple times
Some
actually,
cheeks, bro.
Yeah, he's running across the field. He
Jumps
scares
down.
He
I was
scares some
looking.
old
I didn't
people,
see anything
bro.
on the front when he jumped down
I
the
was
waterfall.
a little concerned with how intrigued Micah was with the sequences.
You know who else
Oh.
was concerned?
I have a girlfriend.
The old farmer.
Yes.
You know?
You said, hey, put on some clothes. The
that
old
is-
lady's going to have a
he's
heart
like-
attack.
That's another thing. So I'm confused at how does he have the jacket in the X-Men movies? Because he gets it in this movie very, very poorly, if I might add, because there's a lot of things that the X-Men movies and X2 specifically set up that I'm like, okay, that's really cool concept. Oh, those dog tags, that'll lead to something really satisfying. Oh, that hint of his vertebrae, that'll lead to something really satisfying. That jacket, that'll lead to something really satisfying. And it doesn't. It's kind of like, oh, we're doing this because it was already done.
It takes the Solo way of being like, oh,
yeah.
you know, I didn't really need the origin story of his blaster, but I guess we've got
whatever.
it now.
Yeah, but
His name is Solo because he rides alone.
because he's alone.
No, my
I guess that makes
the
sense.
the jacket. So at the end of this movie, he gets shot in the head, and he's wearing just a tank top and jeans.
Classic.
Where's the jacket? And how does he know if he loses memory that that's my jacket?
Plot convenience gives it to him.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
There we go. I was looking for it. We found it.
Yeah, just like Logan did.
Are we sure that's the same jacket that
Yes.
he uses in the movies?
It is too dead on to not be the same jacket.
Because I always
It's
took that
legit
as
the same.
like
Yeah.
he
It
just
looks the
likes
exact
leather
same.
jackets.
Yeah, but it's the
You
same.
know?
It's got the 3 stripes on it. It's the OG Logan Wolverine colors, the yellow and brown. It's the same jacket, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just kind of like, oh, we're gonna give him the jacket because it's gonna be really, really cool. This old dude who meets him while he's naked in his barn, they're gonna be his Uncle Ben, as Micah told me when we were watching the movie. He's like, it's like, that's Uncle Ben. It's the worst Uncle Ben I've ever seen, but that's Uncle Ben. And apparently they mean something to Logan.
It looked really like Aunt May though.
Yeah.
Like the woman looked like Aunt May. I was like, whoa. For a second there, I was like, what? Did they get Rosemary Harris to go portray this? No.
I forgot how early
But-
they kill these could have been parental figures in Logan's life. They could have been like a Clark Kent to whatever their names are. The Kents. They could have been the Kents to
Yeah, his
Wolverine.
parents.
Yeah,
Martha.
Martha.
Yeah. I wonder if her name was Martha.
Could have been.
Could have been.
Why'd you say that name?
So I like this movie, but I don't throw any shade your way though for not liking this movie. Because I get it.
You have respectable
Like,
views on this.
I get it. Like this isn't a Punisher
Yeah, yeah.
scenario where
I'm not going to kill
like-
you for.
right, exactly.
You're not gonna punch my head
I'm
in
not
with
gonna
your
bash
fist.
your skull
yeah.
in.
Or lop it off.
Or accidentally.
No, that's gonna come for
slice
Amazing
your
Spider-Man
skull
2. That one's gonna get heated. Heated.
I haven't
man.
seen Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting because we have and we differ on that movie a lot.
I'll be
actually.
the differing.
We'll see what happens. But I like that. Like, I feel like there's not enough movies like this. You know, often with these Marvel movie marathons, we differ, but slightly. You know, but this one is I wouldn't even be surprised if you gave it like a 3. You know, like you do not like this movie so much, and it's I wish that wasn't the case. Like anything, I wish like we could be all united and have the same opinions. But that's what makes it interesting, man. That's what makes this dynamic, the podcast show, so interesting because we all have differing opinions.
Yeah.
On
I wish we could be united too. And the X-Men United. X2. Yeah. Yeah. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Was it?
Yes. I would say it's the best out of the original three, for sure.
Oh, the original three, sure, yeah.
Out of the first three. But I think, especially where X-Men movies go, I think we get better.
Well, let's see what the people thought about. Let's see what they voted with their money. So X Origins, the budget was, what is that? 150 mil.
150.
150 mil.
What the heck? Where'd the budget go?
Yeah. 150
What
mil.
happened to the budget, man?
And it made 374.
So it made its money.
It made some money
back.
But you know what happened?
Mhm.
It had the biggest piracy infringement in American history.
As in, like, people.
Because the entire movie was leaked out months in advance, an early
What?
version of the movie. And there was also a swine flu outbreak when the movie came out.
What?
Out of nowhere.
These are huge facts you're throwing at me. I did not know this about this movie.
I
What?
just found this out now during the podcast. Along with bad ratings, there's just all sorts of it. It was rated It was rated 5th place. It looks like in the Marvel summer movies that were released.
In what year? Or
Or
just
in
everything?
general, for the Marvel movies, it was ranked Spider-Man X2, Spider-Man 3, Iron Man, then this one for the summer blockbusters. So it made the
As
top.
of that time?
As of that time.
I think there was
So-
only 5, though.
It may have been. I don't know.
I
I'm
think
just
that
reading
was-
some facts
Yeah.
here. 16th highest grossing opening day ever. Not bad.
Of all time at that point?
Of that time, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
But the
I'm-
scores show that it really wasn't rated too highly. Everything's rotten across the board. IMDb scores is 65.
What's the audience?
Audience is 58. Critic is 38.
Dang it.
Yeah, Metacritic's 40.
And IMDb is
IMDb is
6.5.
6.5. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
interesting.
it's kind of mixed then, because 6.5, that's fresh.
Well, so here's where I start to understand, like, especially with prequels, because, like, I love the Star Wars prequel films, but I don't really hate on those who grew up on the originals who were anticipating 1, 2, and 3. Because when you have 3 films like that, and then you go into the prequels, I mean, it's not very similar, and the 3 originals are not. You walk into Phantom Menace, I mean, that's a whole different beast than the first 3. So I get it. I get why the fan outrage is there. You know, we're focusing on a 9-year-old boy and a 14-year-old Padme. Nothing interesting is happening until the end. Like, where's the stakes, the drama that was in the first couple ones? Like, I get that. And I guess that's part of it like this, because the origin of Wolverine has never been told before, not even in comics at this point. Actually, no, I think there was a comic run that detailed his, like, early origins, which I did read. I forget when it came out, but they scrambled, the comic book writers, to do this because they knew the movies were going to do this. So
those early origins in this movie, I think, are pretty sick.
Yes.
I like seeing the Bone Logan.
Besides when the kid screams.
Oh yeah,
It was a little cringe.
Yeah.
It takes me out of it just a little bit.
But seeing the little bones come out,
Yes.
seeing how he stabs who we didn't know was his dad, I think it was a little unearned, but whatever. It served its point.
Yeah, so the opening of the scene is a flashback featuring Logan and his brother Sabretooth. Victor Creed, is that his name in the film? Yeah, and basically that's what Mike is talking about right now. That scene, though, it starts off and they're talking to the person we think is their dad. And Micah, he goes,
I like, that looks just like Hugh Jackman.
Dude, they got a really, like, look-alike. Probably is double.
yeah, but the funny thing is, it's revealed later that that's not even
not his dad.
not his dad. But actually, I wrote down during I was taking notes, and I just wrote, the dialogue is pretty terrible in this opening scene, specifically with the kids and the way they're talking to each other.
Bad.
Go watch it.
Bad kid actors.
Yeah.
For sure.
Could
I
have been
agree.
better. Yeah, the brother was not that great. He was very.
That's why the movie didn't focus on the kids, because the actors were horrible.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the war scenes. I love the visuals.
The ones that they montage through.
Yeah, they did montage through. It was unfortunate that they went so fast through those. But if they did include those, it'd just be a war movie.
Right, it doesn't tell the origins of Wolverine. It just
Yeah.
shows Wolverine in World War II.
It shows
in
us
World
what.
War One.
Yeah, we've had World
But
War. We get the idea, and it gives us enough context to see. Okay, this is what Victor was doing. This is how he was changing and becoming more bloodlust throughout these wars.
Yes.
And just wanted to kill more people.
Like, I'm not doubting that a World War II film centered around Logan would not be epic. Like, it obviously would be.
I think it would have to be a whole movie about all of the wars they've been in, because
Yes.
if you focus too much on one war, then it's just that war's movie, and then you'll get comparisons to like Saving Private Ryan.
See,
or
now you need a trilogy: Civil War, World War One, World War II.
Civil
There
War.
you go.
Logan
He was in the Civil War. That was the first
Yeah,
war he
yeah.
was fighting in. So I was like, dude, let's see that.
That'd be sick.
But if you're going to tell an origin story on Wolverine, I want to know two things. How did he get his claws? How did he get his metal? And how did he lose his memory?
And guess what? We got it.
That, for better or worse, that's
We
the
saw
story
the
the
first
movie
time
tells.
he ignited his claws.
Yes.
We saw he got his medal, and we saw how he became a hard-earned, war veteran,
Yeah.
smoking lumberjack dude in Canada, and yeah,
I get why this is the story they chose to tell.
I get it. Yeah.
Like, I don't mind that this is what they told.
Yeah, but they tease a good movie. They tease a good movie in X2. The potential is there, and it doesn't live up to it.
So, Ethan, you said you hate pretty much everything about this movie. Do you have a favorite character in this movie?
Oh boy, I should have prepared. I like Will I Am. That's cool. I like that guy. He's pretty cool. And
Very nice. No, he's great.
yeah.
Pretty cool.
It sucks.
Pretty cool.
It sucks that I can't say Logan, but I just can't. The movie didn't give me a reason to like this version of Logan. And he is a different character. This isn't the Logan we know. This is James.
I will disagree with that one.
No, it's a fact. It's not the Logan we know. Different memories, different experiences, different love of his life.
Well, okay.
He's a Jean Grey
if
guy.
we're going there,
Different
but
character.
as far as the character goes, like of Logan, I see a through line through this movie into the X-Men movies.
Because they shove it down your throat, yeah. So, all right. Micah.
I mean, it is character development. I mean,
Yeah.
It's
I can't believe they tell me about this character.
No.
This
It's
is
not character
ridiculous.
development if you take everything away from him. It's
But that's who his
character-
character is, though.
humbling.
The main trait of Logan in the X-Men movies is memory loss.
I know, but they don't do it right. Maybe it's the gun thing. The fact that it's a gun, that the point of the gun is to remove memory.
Yeah, if it were the surgery that caused him to lose
If
memory,
that's why
I think that would be better.
Yeah. But I felt
If
like
it were
Logan.
him giving it his all, then that would be different.
Yeah.
Like if the only way to save him was to take him down with him into the boiling nuclear waste or whatever.
No,
I don't know.
yeah, I just feel like in the movie they set up, Logan is a victim. And to me, I don't get that in this movie. He doesn't feel as victimized as I think he would have. The way they like wanted to portray him in the X-Men trilogy. Like that's a guy who like has stuff on his mind, and you kind of feel that in that portrayal. But in this, it's like he doesn't feel like a victim to me. He's like, oh yeah, Stryker, dude, I'll do this procedure. I'll do it for you, and he does it, and then he forgets everything. I don't know. Yeah, let's move on.
I agree. I think he's not as well written as in the X-Men movies. I'll agree on that.
And I'm not saying I hate Wolverine because I love him.
I don't think
I love him.
I don't think he's poorly written. I think he's just not as well written as in the X-Men movies.
Yeah, and even as well written as we're gonna get him.
Yeah, because they wrote him just way better than any other character in the X-Men trilogy.
He was the only character they really wrote for. in the X-Men
and that's
movies.
why you're disappointed. And that's why I'm disappointed in Logan's actual character development. Sure, I can see that. Yeah. And of course, this is the first Origins movie in a long line of Origins movies, right?
Yeah, right. They're planning. The next one's what? Magneto?
Yeah.
Magneto?
We do need to talk about that because X-Men Origins, you'll notice that's the title. Why would they make that the title? Because they were planning on making a bunch of other characters, man. A bunch of other movies. The first plan, they had it in the books. They had a release date, for crying out loud, for Magneto X-Men Origins, which would have been awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing him in like World War II in the camps, dude. It would have been intense, but some of that, a lot of that actually, for all of those movies, got repurposed into just telling prequel X-Men films. So you get a lot of his, stuff. First Class specifically. I think Michael Fassbender does an excellent job portraying a young Magneto, even if he never really ages into an Ian McKellen. But Micah, favorite character?
Favorite character? Well, I'll say a character that I am looking at through nostalgia goggles for sure. But I got to go with the Blob himself. Yep, I'm going for it. So growing up, I was a bit on the pudgier side, and this character just sticks out for me because I was like him. I was a big boy, and whenever we played pretend out on the playground, I would say I'm the Blob and I have super strength, so I can do whatever I want. And
wasn't he a character in Lego Marvel Superheroes?
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure
he
you
totally
could
was.
unlock him. Like, dude, he was wrecking the streets of New York City, dude.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, yeah, you can say Logan, you can say whoever, but he's the one I want to call out in this. I want to shout out the Blob.
Okay. Well, you're leaving me with Logan because Logan is my favorite character.
I've said my thoughts on Logan for this episode, so
yeah, I do think that he has a pretty tragic backstory. I was going to respond, but I want to just say it now because Logan's my favorite character. I think he does have a very tragic backstory. I think the fact that he loses like his love for 6 years, that he doesn't get to be with her, even though he doesn't remember that, it's still very tragic. And also the fact that he does just lose his memory. The fact that he volunteers for this experiment so he can have revenge, a core theme in this movie between the two brothers. He even says it, revenge is a powerful motivator. A core theme between the two is revenge. So the fact that he signs up for Weapon X, he wants to get revenge. And then through that, he is used. He is a product of the system, used by Colonel Stryker throughout this. And I think he has some epic one-liners throughout this movie. I still think he is like the coolest character in this movie. So that's Logan for me. As far as favorite scenes go, Micah, do you have a favorite scene in this movie?
The surgery scene going into the farmland scene, or the whatever it is, where he's naked.
You like the naked
Not
scene.
because he's naked. Not because he's naked, although he is quite a specimen, I will say. They actually used my face. They used my body and deep faked.
They deep faked Hugh
Jackman's face.
Yeah,
Holy
right
cow. That's where the CGI budget went.
Yeah, I know,
Holy
right?
cow, that's where the 150
It's advanced
million.
technology to put his face on my body. But yeah, I like the scenes where you get to see Logan stripped of his, like a humble Logan, where he doesn't even have clothes on. He's stuck out in the cold, and then
You like to see the animal.
I like to
would you
see the
say?
animal. Yeah, it reminds me of a certain other movie later on called Logan, and it makes me just want to watch Logan.
A much better film.
Yeah,
Yes.
the lumberjack part, the Logan at a farmhouse, the Logan where the new people just get murked by the government, all that fun stuff.
When he's going berserker mode, it's
Oh, yeah.
very cool to watch.
When he sits down on that motorcycle and he's like, "Wow, you're heavy." Yeah, I put on a few pounds.
Gained a few pounds.
Recently, yeah. Ethan, favorite scene?
Yeah, so you were talking about the Dom Monaghan scene of him in the carnival, and I was like, you know what? I do like something that comes from that. A little later in the film, you have Victor Creedy walks in on Logan, and he shows him a newspaper headline. the headline has Adam Monahav's character on it, and just with the title "Circus Freak Murdered," and that was
Imagine being known as a
the
circus
freak. Yeah,
Freak.
Just a headline.
that was my favorite part of this movie because I remember laughing a ton, and that was a point in the film where me and Micah were both laughing at the same thing for the same reason.
Yeah, definitely. I will agree with that one.
Very nice. I gotta go with the beginning sequence. The reason I always think of this movie, and I haven't highlighted the soundtrack yet by Harry Gregson Williams, which is absolutely fantastic. The theme that he gives Kayla and Wolverine specifically are two excellent themes. But it's when he is just living his normal life, in the woods as a lumberjack. The scenes when he's just living life with his wife as a lumberjack. It just seems so ideal, that life. To me, go to work every day. I don't care if you're making $18K a year. 18.5 is what he says. I'm pretty sure he corrects him. It's just a really cool, nice vibe, and the soundtrack hits really well. Honorable mention to the opening sequence, the montage through the wars. That's another great scene. But now we've come to the part where we have to rank this movie. As we do with every single movie, we put it on the list. We see where it ends up. This is the 22nd film we are going to rank. Micah, we're going to start with you.
Of course.
You've been debating on this.
I've been staring at
for a while.
This list for a while.
After an hour of conversation.
I've noticed that all of our X-Men movies have been in the mid-70s, looks like. No, for me, it's been the mid-70s. And I'd say it goes around there in the mid-7s.
Yeah.
And where it ranks, we established that X2 is, did we say that one's a 7.5? Yeah, that one.
I think we were united on X2.
We were X2 united
7.5 all
on
the
that.
way around. Yeah.
Of course. So I gotta put it around there too. I'll say not quite as good as X2 because they did have better Logan moments in X2, which is sad because X-Men Origins Wolverine should be better for Logan.
Yeah.
As it is Logan's movie. So I'm just gonna dock it a couple points. I'm gonna say a 7.3.
7.3.
So not quite as good as Last Stand, not quite as good as X2, but a little bit better than the first one in my opinion.
All right. Mr. Wentzloff.
Did I say 7.3? Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've already spent a good amount of this time saying why I didn't like this movie, and I'm not going to be redundant, but I'll just make it very brief. I could get past the bad CGI action scenes. I could get past the corny dialogue. I could get past some of the writing. But to me, characters have to be good. And I don't know at what point in this movie I wrote this, but looking at my notes, I wrote, Hugh Jackman is not good in this movie. And then I wrote, Logan is stupid, ? I don't know when I wrote that throughout the movie, but the fact that I was having those thoughts through the movie really doesn't support it in my way. Because, I think if I love Logan in this movie and I love the way Hugh Jackman plays him, I think I can forgive everything because it's but it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me in this specific movie because obviously Hugh Jackman, perfect casting,
right?
Great in the role. I love him. I love him in everything. But for some reason, this movie,
he's so skilled too. Even with what he got in this movie, I feel he still played his heart out.
Yeah, but for me, it didn't work. And the whole love stuff and the betrayal and then the getting back together. And I'm not going to argue with you, Ben, because you're the resident married man. You know what love is. Okay, so I'm not going to fight you on that. But for me, I can't put this much higher than a 5.5.
Ooh.
That was more generous than I thought he was going to be. So
yeah, I thought it was sub 5 for sure.
That's the highest I could let it. No, the reason I didn't go lower is because I looked at other scores and I was like, this movie's better than those.
Yeah.
So
a little bit less than Blade Trinity for you.
This one,
yeah.
I do like Blade Trinity better.
Okay.
What'd I give Blade Trinity?
5.6.
Okay. Wow. Just that 1 point. Yeah.
All right.
I like that.
Ryan Reynolds was just
It was just a little bit better.
Point better.
It's a 0.6 better.
Right.
Oh, I forgot Ryan Reynolds is in this.
All right.
All right, 10
so
out of 10.
5.7, you said?
5.5.
5.5. There you go. 5.5. And you said 7.3, Micah.
That's right. 7.3.
So, I mean, obviously you've spent an hour listening to us. I was also positive on it, like Micah. My score is going to be around the same as you. I do like the story. I kind of just laid that out. I really like the story. I think Logan is a tragic character. There are some very bad elements to this movie, especially the CGI really hurts at times. There is a sequence at the end with Charles Xavier. We didn't even talk about that. With some absolutely atrocious
that was
green
so
screen,
bad.
and yet again the return of special CGI faced
The de-aging
Charles
of
Xavier.
That was rushed a bit.
Well, it totally feels tacked on because the kids are running towards him.
it's
and
so
you can
funny.
totally tell that it's a green screen. Like
They're
it's-
not even
it's
running
horrible.
upwards or anything. They're
No,
just
it's
running
bad. It's
towards the
it's
back
very
of a
bad.
say,
set.
oh,
Yep.
that's not very good. That was your quote, Micah. When
That's not very good.
That's not very good.
Yeah. So the CGI takes it down multiple points for me, and there are certain cringy lines.
So if
that I feel
CGI
like-
was good, it'd be a 10 out of 10.
CGI was good to be a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
Wow.
No, I'm not
Wow.
saying that.
Wow,
Not
wow,
at
wow,
all.
wow, wow,
But
wow.
this definitely deserves, in my opinion, maybe it's nostalgia talking, but I've got a lot of good feelings with this movie, so I'm giving it a 7.5.
Oh.
Wow. So you're saying this is, where does it rank with your, so it's
Can
like
I-
X2?
Can I hear
Yes.
Ben's Spider-Man 1 score?
Spider-Man 1 score, an 8.
Okay.
All the Spider-Man movies, except for 3, I guess. I think I gave 3
You gave
a
2 an
7.5.
8.5, and you gave 3 a 7.5.
I can't give this movie an 8. I can't justifiably
No,
give this movie
an 8's like, I'd
Eight's
watch
too
this
high.
a couple times.
No, but dude, I have a lot of good feelings watching this movie.
7s are like, I'd watch this again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind watching this
Yes.
again. 8s are, oh yeah, I'd watch this with friends. Like I'd bring a bunch of people. Like I'm recommending this movie.
Yes. 8 and above.
8 and above is I'm recommending it. 7 is
7.5, 7.3, 5.5. Where does that put us on our sheet? Overall,
that gives us a 6.7 out of 10 average for us.
6.7, and it takes place what place within 22 movies?
Oh, you just give me 1 second there, bud.
Yeah.
Dude,
Don't
just
mean to
always
rush it.
loud.
Don't mean to rush it. It's
all
all
right,
good.
all right. You ready for this? You ready?
Ready for it.
We have, I put it in the wrong spot. So, puts us in 9th place. 9th place.
Overall?
Overall.
Oh.
Out of 9th out of
Out
22.
of 21.
That's not good.
9th
So-
place isn't bad.
No, it's not. I disagree with it. But
Oh, okay. Just a little worse than Blade, X-Men.
So Blade and X-Men are
Are
better
both 6.9s. Yep.
Okay.
X-Men is a 6.9.
what is directly under that?
X-Men The Last Stand? So
He's
it's a
right.
little bit better than The Last Stand. I'd say that.
That's fair.
I'd
Yep,
say that. And then
absolutely.
better than Ghost Rider.
Yes.
Better than Fantastic Four.
Yes.
And those are our 6s.
Okay, I don't hate that.
Okay.
I like that. That's
Right in
good.
our upper 6 range.
We needed
Yeah.
me to be highly negative on this to balance it out in our overall ranking.
Because that's where it ends up, man. At the end of the day, we're gonna have a pretty balanced list.
Yeah.
Even when you have 2 guys here who have nostalgia glasses on, not particularly, but like it ends up being balanced out. I don't think all those movies that are lower, I agree with.
Yeah.
No, I mean I think this movie's a little bit higher. But
Wait, so this is 9th. Where is Punisher on there?
Punisher is at 14.
Okay.
yeah, Punisher.
Yeah, it's going down.
It was a 2v1 on Punisher.
Yeah. Especially once we get some MCU movies under our belt. It's
Dude,
it's gonna be
that's the
buried.
thing, man. We're at a point where we haven't reached the MCU yet, but almost every MCU movie beats this out.
Oh, yeah.
Like
For
100%.
sure. Every single MCU movie is definitely like either high 70s for the lows,
Yeah.
mid 70s for the lows, or
Well, I would
Eights.
say
straight 8s.
I would
All
say
through.
6 and up
6 and up?
Yeah.
Okay.
because Hulk I gave a 6.5.
Mm.
So
Speaking of,
speaking of,
our next movie, this movie, by the way, was the only movie for 2009.
so we've already look
We're
at that.
done with 2009.
Done with
That's a whole
2009.
year, guys.
We're
And then
In
we'd have to wait a
2010.
whole nother year from May 1st to May 7th. Not a week, a year until you get your next Marvel fix. And that was in 2010 with Iron Man 2.
Iron Man. Yes.
We are back
Okay.
in the MCU, baby.
Yes.
Woo! And we
Thank goodness.
we will be back for 2 movies. It looks like.
Really?
Yes.
What's the next? Thor? Listen,
Thor's after that?
Listen, I want to tell you right now, I'm so excited for Thor.
2011
I say the
was
next
another
4
good movie.
movies are going to be fun. We have Iron Man, Thor, X-Men First Class, and then we have Captain America: The First Avenger.
Are you stopping right there?
Fine, I'll read the next one. It's Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance. And then following that up, we got Avengers. And
You
then,
mean Mid-Vengers?
Ooh. And then Amazing Spider-Man,
Amazing
right? That's
Spider-Man,
next.
Iron Man 3, the Wolverine.
Spider-Mid?
All
We're
we need to do
We're
is
headed
get
towards
through
brighter days.
Iron Mid
Ghost
3?
Rider.
We're going to get there, boys.
We're going to get there. I mean, I'm even excited for Iron Man 2, man.
Yes.
Thor: The Peak World?
Yeah. Let's go.
In a day and
man.
age where we don't have RDJ as Iron Man, I'm excited for Iron Man 2.
Anytime we get to see him portray the role, I've only seen this movie once.
I probably have only seen it once, too.
I've
Same
seen
thing with Iron
it
Man
3 times. I'll reveal my thoughts next week, but
There we go.
it's my least favorite Iron Man film.
Really?
For sure.
Ooh, hot take?
Not a hot take.
Yeah, I feel like that's not
Pretty
a hot take.
common
I don't know. I haven't seen Iron Man
Common
2 in a while.
You
Is
can
this the one that Elon Musk is in?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You can find this movie on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
100%.
Or in your MCU collection, of
Absolutely. Got this thing on Blu-ray.
course.
I don't think I've ever used it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like I said, I had only seen the Incredible Hulk from my set, and I'll probably still watch Iron Man 2 on Disney Plus in the IMAX.
Listen,
Enhanced.
even though these movies are on digital, just so I can say that I used them, I'm using my Marvel Discs copies for this thing.
I'll probably give my Blu-rays to my dad because he doesn't have very good internet at his house.
Hey, there you go.
That's not a bad idea. I'll do that.
See, there is a use beyond collecting for physical media.
There we go.
There is a use. Absolutely. So you have a 6.7 for X-Men Origins Wolverine. Stay tuned for next week when we cover, no, not Thor, Iron Man 2, and also The Last of Us episode 3, I guess, is what's going to be out.
From when this episode comes out, right? Because it's next week.
Episode 3, yeah.
Yep, episode 3 is
will
tonight.
be out.
Be watching out
Looking
for that.
forward to that. That's
If all goes to plan, Lord willing.
This is like, we're 2 episodes in, and, I would like to be on like the finale episode. Of course, if you gentlemen will have me.
The week after that, too. Ooh. In 2 weeks, we have the beginning of February,
Mm-hmm.
and that starts Mandalorian Season 3.
March. March is when that starts.
March? I thought it was
March 1st.
February.
Nope.
Oh.
February.
We get
Shoot.
2. So there are 2 weeks. I said that earlier.
Sorry,
2
fans.
weeks where we get Pedro Pascal double that week. So it'll be really
this
exciting.
sucks. I had my hopes up for that.
That would have been a.
March 1st? Oh, I
Not
gotta
that you
check
can
my
have
calendar.
too much Pedro, but
Yeah.
No,
I got
listen.
more Pedro in my life.
February is when the King dynasty starts. All right.
Whoa.
This is the year of Pedro Pascal, but let's not forget that this is also the year of Jonathan Majors. He's going to be in a lot of stuff too. So, I mean, there's already 2 episodes of Last of Us, and it's already, so good. For a couple hours, the most recent episode was at a 10 out of 10 on IMDb, which is
insane.
Pretty insane. Obviously, it's not there now, but that's a testament to how good and faithful this show is being to the source material, and just, it's good in general. Me, a fan who's just watching it, it's great. So,
Any Bad Batch coverage coming from you guys?
we'll do a season finale
All right.
for Bad Batch.
So
but
stay tuned for that, guys.
yes,
I haven't watched
that's
any
going to
Bad
be
Batch.
like March,
Yeah, it's a long
like
time.
mid-March. We're going to have
You said mid-March?
mid-March, yeah.
March is mid? Oh, jeez.
But
Not
I mean,
this year.
February 17th is Ant-Man Quantumania. It's coming.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
coming up.
Like less than a month.
Yes.
Looking forward to it, big time. Hoping that Phase 5 can start with a bang. So,
A quantum bang.
just going to put quantum in front of every word. That makes sense. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. But that does it for this review of X-Men Origins Wolverine. We'll hope to see you next time in another multiverse. For now, I am Ben Rayside.
I'm Ethan Westlaw.
I'm Mike Ahead.
And we all hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.
That's cool.